Alright, we're picking it right back up at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 47. Deuteronomy 28:47. Because thou servest not Yahweh thy God with joyfulness and with the gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness of the mind, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue or language thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. We're going to pick it up at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 62. And you shall be left few in number, whereas you were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of Yahweh thy God. And it shall come to pass that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to nothing. And you shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And this, brothers and sisters, is the proof that we've been to every nation on the planet Earth. This is the history of slavery and the slave trade, and this book is written by Blake. So go do your own research. You don't have to believe me. Get this book. Then define slave trade. When you define slave trade, it says trafficking slaves, specifically the transportation of black Africans to America for sale as slaves. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease. Yahweh said, I'm going to scatter y'all from one end of the earth to the other. And he said, every nation you go to, you will not receive any ease. Now we're going to the book of understanding, which is, one of my favorite books of understanding, the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. Let's see if we get an ease in America or any other nation we've been took to in the slave trade, according to the book of Deuteronomy. Ease. Now y'all tell me if this is what the slaves got, because Yahweh said we wasn't going to get no ease. So I'm just trying to compare my people to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 through 68. Ease, the condition of being without discomfort. You know that ain't us. Freedom from pain, worry, or agitation. Freedom from constraint, embarrassment, or awkwardness. Poise, naturalness. Freedom from difficulty, hard work, or great effort. Readiness. Freedom from financial difficulty, affluence. To free from pain, worry, agitation, or trouble. Soothe, comfort. To alleviate or lighten discomfort, mitigate, lessen, to slacken the strain, pressure, tension, or stress of, loosen. To move or fit into place or position slowly and carefully. To lessen in discomfort, stress, pressure, or the like. To bring the helm somewhat toward midships in order to reduce the strain on the rudder. Now we know we didn't receive none of that, and we ain't receiving none of that today. So everywhere we've been, we ain't getting no ease. Neither did the sole of our foot have rest. But Yahweh gave us there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. Like when we were slaves, man, we ain't had no assurance of our life, man. We feared day and night that we was even gonna make it to the next day. We used to have prayers. God, please let us see the morning. God, please let us see the evening. You know what I'm saying? And how can you have assurance of your life when every time you look around a slave getting murdered and killed? So that means you don't have no insurance because that person that just got killed looks just like you. So you can be next. And you are the object of high murder rate now. So, and just as today, this curse is still placed on us today. It just modernized, you know. We don't have no insurance of our life today. Every time you turn on the news, is a brother killed, murdered, everything. Everybody killing brothers. Foreigners, the white folks, court systems frying us. We killing each other. So every day we just subject to death. So I can't sit here and say I got insurance in my life. I might walk out this door and look like somebody looking for, you know. You never know. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 67. In the morning thou shalt say, with God it were even, and at evening thou shalt say, with God it were morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for slaves, and no man shall buy you. No man shall buy you. Actually also means no man shall ever pay you back. You know what I'm saying? And no one bought us off the land anyway because we was robbed and stolen from the land. Now we got to trace the curse down through the prophets to modernized times. But we're going to go to another verse in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 26. I said I would scatter them in the corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. You won't even have a memory of who you are, where you're from, language, history, culture. Sound kind of familiar, don't it? You'll be African American, Afro American after your hair, black after your skin, you know what I'm saying? Coon, Negro, anything but who you are, because your memory has been restricted, access denied. You didn't deserve it anyway. When you had it, you didn't glorify it. So why do you need it now? Don't cry for it now. When you had it, you wasn't looking for it that hard. Now you ain't got it. Now you looking. Sign of the times. Okay. Turn it to. We're gonna pick it up at what Yahweh told one of the kings, King Solomon. He said. This is 1 Kings chapter 9, verse 6. But if you shall at all turn from following me, you or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them, then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them. And this house which I have hallowed for my name, will I cast it out of my sight. And Israel shall be a proverb, there go that nigga again, and a byword among all people. And at this house which is high, everyone that passeth by shall be astonished, and shall hiss. And they shall say, why have Yahweh done this unto this land and to this house? Why is Yahweh killing off these niggas? Because that's what byword mean. And everybody hissing and astonishing at you, looking at you like, dang, man, Yahweh done destroyed these niggas. And they shall answer, because they forsook Yahweh their God, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and have taken hold upon other gods, and have worshipped them, and served them. Therefore hath Yahweh brought upon them all this evil. And it came to pass at the end of 20 years, when Solomon had built the two houses, the house of Yahweh and the king's house. So that's why we are constantly destroyed, from worshiping false gods. I'm not going to leave off the curse, but I just want to back verse it real quick, because this verse is calling my name. Exodus 20, verse 3, the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. So we can't even get in the door, man. We got all these Jesus Christ, Jehovah, Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to call upon. But the name documented to be feared in this King James version of the Bible, Holy Bible, all the Bibles got it. Every single one. Unless they cut it out the back, or you're dealing with some Catholic Bibles. See that name? Can you make it out? Yahweh, the covenant God of Israel. YHWH in the original Hebrew. According to Jewish custom, because of reverence, the divine name was not to be spoken. So the Hebrew words for Lord and God were substituted. Whenever the words Lord and God appear in large and small capital letters, the original Hebrew reads YHWH. See, that's very important because the God of the Hebrews is Yahweh. But the Hebrews who don't have that memory, who've been hung on trees did 400 years, is in America calling up on these guys. We wonder why we're getting forced into the trash bin, and why we don't have our memory. Let's take up some more. Let's look up some more verses on memory. Take it to Psalms chapter 83, and I'm gonna pick it up at 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, meaning they all came together, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and have consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be in no more remembrance. So this is what their whole objective was to cut off our great name, so we would never remember it again. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. He said they not confederate against us. They confederate against Yahweh. They don't know that, but they'll find out soon that when they did all this to us, they wasn't doing it to us. You fighting Yahweh now. We already destroyed because we didn't accept it. Now you want to come along after we've been destroyed and then fight against Yahweh after we gone? Well, you folks is crazy, man. But hey, I don't know what to say, but we're going to pick it right back up again at Isaiah chapter 1, verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yahweh hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. He said, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass or the donkey even know where his crib is at. But Israel doeth not know who their owner is, where their crib is at. My people doeth not consider. That's why. You ask a brother in America, man, you know where you from? Nigga, I'm from such and such, such. I'm from the hood, nigga. I'm from North Memphis, nigga. I'm from New Chicago. I'm from California. They repping everything but the real. You repping some stuff that you got killed and slaved to work in. Now that's what you gonna rep. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 13. Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore hail hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. This is why we don't have our knowledge today, our memory today, because we ain't got no knowledge. And not only do we don't have no knowledge, we actually rejected the knowledge that was being taught to us according to Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget your children. Kids is the most forgotten in the streets. Excuse me, folks. Isaiah 26:14 says, they are dead. They shall not live. They are deceased. They shall not rise. Therefore hast thou visited and destroyed them, and made all their memory to perish. He said, they dead. They shall not live. They deceased. Neither shall they never rise without their true memory. Okay, so let's look up dead and see if we can compare this to the blacks of America who don't have their memory any longer. Okay. Well, we're coming to the end of this one right here, so we're going to pick up Isaiah chapter 26, verse 14 here in a minute.